You are now listening to an exclusive interview on Sounds of Success with Noah Swiderski.
Welcome to the Sounds of Success. I'm Noah Swiderski. Today we're talking about mastering the brain with Daniel Van. Dan is an ADHD coach who helps high performers turn stress and burnout into focus and regulated consistency. If you've ever felt like your potential is locked behind a wall of ADHD or anxiety, this is for you. Dan, thank you for joining the show.
Thank you for having me here. It's an absolute pleasure. I'm really passionate about this area of work and really looking forward to talking about stress management, ADHD, managing burnout, and helping high performers turn that stress energy into effective outcomes for them.
And let's talk about that. You moved from a traditional psychology into high performing coaching. What's the biggest difference in how you help people win?
With traditional psychology, obviously you have therapists and people who study a clinical framework to help people overcome certain barriers and challenges. So I operate from that framework partly. The transformation part is what led me into coaching. So I work with high performers who are looking to unlock their potential, moving beyond just the clinical framework of a diagnosis like ADHD and helping people tap into their strengths. And that's where coaching is a little bit different from clinical psychology, in that it's probably a little bit more practical, but it also helps people reach from baseline level of functioning to more of a high potential.
And everyone always talks about the downsides of ADHD. What's one trait of the ADHD brain that's actually a massive advantage in business?
Absolutely. There are a lot of downsides and challenges, but a lot of people with ADHD, particularly adults, have an enormous amount of resilience and are tenacious in chasing what they want. For myself and other people with ADHD, we often have a really strong ability to hyper-focus in on an outcome or really lock into a goal that we want to achieve. And that energy, enthusiasm, the drive and passion, and the level of resilience that we've had to build throughout our lives to overcome the challenges of ADHD really make a huge difference to our success. Another thing with ADHD, many of us are kind of opportunists and lateral thinkers. We're bigger picture thinkers, and we're good at seeing things that other people don't. And often that means that we're a bit more innovative. We think outside the square, and we're often geared towards seeing potential, tapping into potential opportunities that others may not reach out to.
And I'm sure you've seen it hundreds of thousands of times, but what's the very first sign a professional is headed for burnout before they even realize it?
One of the biggest first signs for a lot of professionals is just in terms of things like sleep, diet, general routine. So those things often fall off track. You also may see it physiologically in facial expression, the way a person's communicating. Body language really does tell a story. So I think those key aspects are real signs. It often shows up in the body physiologically and what people are presenting, how a person appears, the way that a person might be talking. And also, those routine factors are very strong signs that a person might be heading towards burnout.
And I saw it on I think it was your social or online, but you use EMDR to clear mental blocks. How does that work for someone who just feels stuck in their career?
Yeah, absolutely. So EMDR is an extremely powerful tool and technique that has traditionally been used for processing trauma. Essentially, it works on bilateral stimulation of the brain through eye movement or other sensory input. And what that actually helps a person do is work through the associated thoughts and feelings with a certain target trigger. So that target trigger might be something like, I'm incredibly scared of getting up and doing some public speaking because earlier on in my life, I was in a class environment and the teacher picked me out and humiliated me in front of the class. And ever since then, I've been scared of speaking in front of people. So EMDR will use that target information or the trigger, such as I'm in front of a group of people and trying to talk, and it will use eye movement to process the associated thoughts and feelings, to alleviate those thoughts and feelings, and to create new positive, helpful beliefs, as well as a sense of emotion regulation to help the person better adjust to the challenges of daily life in different areas.
And speaking on programs, tell us a little bit about your ADHD ambition program. What's the number one habit that changes the game for all your clients?
So ADHD Ambition is a 6-module program that helps people implement the habits and systems that help them reach their goals and outcomes. One of the biggest, most helpful things for a lot of people with ADHD is finding a way to implement habits in an incremental approach, and that is starting off very small and increasing gradually over time. One of the other really important things is to align identity and environments with the habits that we want to form. Many of us with ADHD, we're like sponges to our environments, and what that often means is that we need the people and the circumstances and environments around us that are doing similar things at the same time to help us form the habits that reach our success. So it's about connecting with the right people, the right environments, and also starting off small and growing our habits to build towards goals over time.
Is hyperfocus a gift or a curse, and how do we really control it, like the on switch?
You're absolutely spot on. It can be a bit of both. Hyperfocus can be a gift and it can be a curse, and knowing when to switch it on and knowing when to dial it down. So hyperfocus, particularly in periods where we need to really engage in lock into our work with deep focus, can be an enormous gift. We're able to lock in at a level that other people may not be able to access. And what that means is we can get an extraordinary amount of work done in a certain burst of time. But the challenge or problem is when we're so locked in, nothing else exists. So it's quite possible that we might ignore other obligations, meetings, other areas of life. We may even forget to eat meals during the day or look after ourselves. So it's really important to schedule that hyperfocus time in so we know when we're going to utilize hyperfocus effectively and really lock into getting something done, and also when to break out of hyperfocus by setting certain reminders or managing our schedule effectively.
I'm sure you see it a lot through all your coaching and training. Why do even the most successful CEOs still feel like they're frauds, and how do you help them flip that script?
Absolutely. It's a really common part of my work. Imposter syndrome. Some of the most successful people have an underlying negative narrative or belief about themselves. They feel like they're a fraud, they're not quite good enough. And it comes from a history of having to use a high level of stress and the fear of failure as a driving factor towards their success. However, that high level of stress and the fear of failure never quite goes away. It's always running the show in the background. So they're constantly performing, they're meeting challenges, they're exceeding targets, very high functioning. But underneath, there's this common voice saying, you might be faking it, you're going to get found out, you're not quite good enough. So what we do is really reach and target the underlying thoughts and feelings associated with that stress response and find clear evidence and proof of strengths and resilience that they've built in their life, and really help them understand and anchor into a level of self-assurance based on their strengths. I think self-compassion goes a long way, and also understanding where we can actually take ownership of our flaws and weaknesses and blind spots, and incorporating all of that into more of a balanced view of self. And that propels more of a regulated level of success and productivity over time.
I know you're booked up and blocked out with all the slots on your calendar, but you offer 15-minute discovery calls. What can someone learn about their deeper potential in just 15 minutes?
15 minutes isn't a lot of time, but what I'd like to really do in that time is help people understand why they're experiencing certain challenges and what they can do about addressing those challenges in working with me. So in that 15 minutes, we help people get a bit clearer on what they're experiencing, and also understanding that underneath that experience, the challenges, there is a deeper potential waiting to be unlocked. And so from that, I guide people into the next best approach, whether it's working with me or another professional or getting other self-help tools. It's about helping the person find the right pathway to overcome the challenges and reach that deeper potential within them.
For that one person who hates sitting still, what's a low friction way to start calming the noise?
Very good question. I think one of the best ways to start calming the noise is purely just the awareness of what's happening, being able to check in with ourselves. When we stop for a moment and we gain a level of awareness about what's happening within us, self-inquiry and understanding, and through that awareness, we're able to identify what we might need at that time. So for some people with a lot of noise, they might need a level of activity, whether it's taking some time and space to go for a mindful walk out in nature or getting into some sunlight. For other people, it's just stopping, breathing and grounding checking in with the body, scanning the body and mind, and really getting comfortable with being uncomfortable as well. So some of these thoughts and feelings are uncomfortable, but we also, by checking in, grow a container of safety and tolerance around our uncomfortable feelings.
Absolutely. And with a lot of the listeners in mind, if someone is overwhelmed right now, what's the smallest possible action they can take today to regain control?
One of the best things that helps a lot of people when they're overwhelmed is simply get out the pen and paper, start writing down what is on your mind right now. What am I concerned about? When we put that onto pen and paper, it helps us process those thoughts and feelings. It also helps us take stock of the stresses. And often when we do that, when we list these things on a piece of paper, it helps us to gain a level of control and probably cuts through a lot of the overwhelm. We realize that the things that are overwhelming us are not as big and insurmountable as what we thought.
Dan, thanks for dropping gems today. For everyone listening, if you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and start tapping into your potential, head over to Dan's website. Dan, where can they find you?
Yep, people can find me on deeperpotential.com.au. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram with the handle Deeper Potential, and feel free to shoot me an email, send me a DM if you have any more questions. More than happy to answer any questions you ask.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We can't wait to have you again and really appreciate your time, Dan.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.